Chase, we have an update about the new dog. To follow up on our Dogs Are the Best podcast of last week. If you have not listened to it, we ranked some really good boys and girls from video games. My wife stumbled upon a YouTube for, like, we've talked about this. Very calming music is supposed to help wind dogs down, especially puppies. Like dogs respond to classical music. That's a proven fact. And you've seen, like, I don't know, like a wallpaper on your Mac or like a screensaver on your Mac. They're what's on the Apple TV. Really cool, like very beautiful, National Geographic looking.
Sure.
Spanning like slow pans over a desert or something, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
People have taken Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, for that matter, and they have basically made 4-hour videos for YouTube that look like those Apple screensavers that are just the music and the sound effects of the wind and the rain playing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this was just something that like YouTube had said, hey, here's a recommended video, because we use YouTube a lot for the like video game-ish intro music that you might hear on other stuff. So like my algorithm on YouTube says, hey, you're a sicko that only listens to this stuff in Anamanaguchi, which are kind of hand in hand.
Yeah.
But the last 3 weeks, man, at any given moment, when you're downstairs chilling at our house in the living room on that TV mounted, there's just this constant loop of Hyrule and like very good piano, just, and like the lights are a little bit lower. And I got to tell you, I recommend most people find a video game soundtrack with some really cool ambient minimal stuff to go with it. Lower your lights down and just chill. Like literally just like have that be the thing that's happening around you in your home, whether you're watching something else, reading something else, listening, cooking, talking, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
It has been fantastic.
Well, this is a house that is generally filled with noise and excitement. You have 3 dogs.
I have 3 corgis, which are notoriously loud dogs.
They do like to bark. You have another person in the house with you.
Correct.
So there's a decent. I can understand the excitement for chill.
Correct.
For coming down and getting in that kind of groove. I'll tell you, as somebody who lives alone,
yes,
the silence is the baseline for me.
Like, so like good baseline or bad baseline?
Neither good nor bad. It's just like this is the house is quiet generally.
You don't have like podcast or music or things like that going?
That's the thing. For me, I'm not going, I need to like find ways of turning things down and chilling out. No. I need to find ways of bringing things up and doing more stuff, playing music in the house, doing podcast or listening to podcasts,
doing and listening,
videos playing. Sure. Having a TV on to like have some kind of sport on that I'm really not paying attention to, but it's nice to have a little extra noise, a little extra motion going on. So yeah, I totally understand your point. Couldn't be me though, because I get that too much. It's already too serene in this house. I need more. Give me more.
For anybody who's listening to this, I did not hit start on the recording until Chase started talking there. I was basically just telling Chase that we've been listening to ambient Zelda music and turning the lights down and chilling out in the house. So all that stuff he was talking to is for that. And that is the Casual Hour. It's episode 437.
So professional.
Well, and that's the sad part. Like, as I just talk about, I forgot to hit record on episode 437 of this bullshit. It is August 27th. This is the last podcast of August 2025. Good riddance. You were hot, and I did not like you, mostly.
That's true.
Your video games are pretty good, but you, not so much. But as we look ahead, Chase, we are just here to talk about some of those video games. And you've been a busy bee. I've been a busy bee. And as somebody who will have the honor of preparing our September games preview, I think we're going to be busier bees in September than we are in August. But I don't count August 28th for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're basically into September.
I will be busy in September, but not because of September video games.
You will be gone till November because of September.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm hours away. By the time you listen to this on the recording, if you're live on Twitch with us, you also have a couple hours left.
Oh God.
But Super Robot Wars Y comes out in literal hours, and I'm
Are you
very
excited?
for it. Yeah, it's not going to be something. I mean, I will quote unquote binge it, but it's not a game that's really built for that. It's kind of a game that you end up doing one or two missions a session, because each mission takes about an hour,
Okay.
and there's many missions. So it's something that gets broken up over the course of months. This was the case with 30. This was the case with the other games that I played in that series. So it's not going to be something where, I do a session of 7 hours of playing Super Robot Wars Y. Maybe when I first get it, I'll do a nice big session. Like once you're in the groove of that game, though, it's kind of just like, oh yeah, I threw a mission on there, I played it, I had a good time. Now let me play something else, and I'll come back to that another time. So it's going to be something that I kind of keep sipping on over the course of months.
Well, we're not recording. No, I'm sorry. We are recording. I got my weeks mixed up. We're going to take a week off in 2 weeks, but next week, just to season you up and get you all primed and ready. It's going to be a weird week. We're going to have a lot of Super Robot Wars Y talk, and I'm not going to talk tonight. I can just tell you I'm playing Metal Gear Solid Delta, and I'll be talking about that next week. But
it's also going to be a shortened week. We're taking Monday off with Labor Day.
Yes, so we will not be doing a casual Monday, but we did just wrap up a series on there, and I don't think it ended the way we wanted it to. But yes, Your Grace Snowfall.
Some might say it was just starting.
It was just starting.
Not
we
us.
Honestly, just ending. We literally kind of got through the tutorial, and we're like, well, one, that's fucking
stupid.
Grand opening,
grand closing.
Yeah, grand opening, grand closing. That's a cool game for a minute, and then I really don't like the wasted time thing they did. But you can watch those. There's been a few of them. We were going to get back into Nine Kings probably next. So it'll be 2 weeks before we get back to that. But we're going to have plenty of games to keep you very satisfied. And I do hope to be able to get back to some casual Friday stuff too. But with that being said, Chase, I've played a game, you've played a game, and then we've both played a game. So why don't we start with a game I've played that you haven't, then a game you've played that I haven't, and then we'll end up with a game we both played. There's a game I've told you about that I will tell you about again with. You should be thinking very seriously about a way to play Dice Gambit. So Dice Gambit.
Too many games.
The games keep coming, despite our intention to keep them from doing so. You took a look at this, right? Correct?
I did.
Okay. So you're at least familiar with a premise and a look of this game. For those of you who are not, it came out on August 14th. It is from Chromatic Inc., which I don't know much about them outside of this game. It looks like Dice Gambit is pretty much it for them. But Dice Gambit, to be reductive, I would say is Dicey Dungeons meets XCOM meets Persona. And I know I just said a lot of really cool things.
Those sound like exciting things.
And it's got a similar art style. I mean, it's very anime. It's not quite this, but like stylistically at least. Wolfstride, if you remember that game, the really cool black and white one. This is not a black and white game.
Yeah.
But it's definitely got a very anime-esque vibe to it. So let me talk a little bit about where I'm at with it. I would say I've like got an hour or two. There is a prologue, or at least there was. Yeah, the first act. You can download the first act, and that does carry over to the game. This will set you back $25. It's currently 15% off on Steam right now, which I think is the only place you can play it, if I'm not mistaken. But you get to go in and you create a character. You give them a bit of a backstory, and you are narratively working through what looks to be kind of like a run-based riff. And I do believe it is going to be more run-based. I think there might be some persistency. No, it's not run-based. It can't be. It's more of like,
you're the one who played it, bud.
I'm trying to explain like what it is, because I would not say that XCOM, the really crazy one, that most recent one that came out, Chimera Squad. Like, remember how that would be like you're coming back to a base and you're looking at a board and doing like events on that board? That's basically how Dice Gambit is.
I didn't play Chimera Squad.
Oh, fuck. So I thought you played that one.
No.
So it's not like, it looks like a run-based game, but you are just going back to a hub and planning your missions and kind of leveling up and doing all that stuff there. So it is a bit more fantasy-driven from the way it looks. Like there's things like magic that you're going to get, but there's a whole job system in this one that I think is really fucking cool. And so you're leveling up your character. You're using stamina to go and like do energy moves to other nodes on the map, but then you're also taking damage from the fights. And so far they've been very onesie twosie from what I've been able to see here. Like there's going to be a portal that's open. There's a bigger baddie. If you kill the bigger baddie while all the minions are coming after you, the portal will close, and then you wrap up the mission and you kind of come back out to the overscreen. And then from there, you can choose, like, just think about like Inscription when you're looking at the map there. Do I want to go left? Do I want to go right? Okay, if I go left, I can then go and like have a question mark kind of weird random event, or I can go and upgrade my health. It's that type of thing. That's why I'm saying more run based, but it's not. It's just got a lot of the DNA. But you're doing things in an XCOM fashion. But imagine if you started the turn on XCOM, you had to roll 5 dice. And those dice are going to have things like a sword on it, a shield. It's going to have a lightning bolt for movement. And depending on what dice you get, those are the moves that you've unlocked that you are taking into your XCOM turn. So it's all like people are positioned on the board. I just rolled 2 swords, I rolled a shield, and I rolled a lightning bolt. Well, I can use 2 swords and do my special ability, and that way I only have like 1 attack taken there. But you can use all of the things. So I could do 2 separate attacks, throw my shield on, and move and position my character for the next time. But as you play the game, you start to level up, and it's like, oh, hey, you just unlocked a new class, a new job, basically. The next time you're back at your base, you need to go spend 10 coins and get this job system. So the first one's like an Inquisitor. I just unlocked kind of this magical rogue type person that can do a lot of stuff with like throwing knives, and they have 2 daggers when they fight, so they're a lot faster. But the cool thing is like once you unlock a class, you can just like get the passive abilities from it, or you can unlock long-term abilities that then become moves that you can equip. So like one of those, as I mentioned, is you can position your character and they have a knife throw where, imagine kind of like a rim, if you will, of like the spokes on a rim. You'll throw out all these daggers in that pattern. And so you can take out quite a bit around you, because you are getting kind of swarmed. It's a hex grid, which I know you don't love, but the movement allows you to be more kind of like encapsulated by the enemy. I have unlocked a second person, and that's the other cool thing. So to get my party, because it's like your estate is what you're building out with this, I basically picked my partner. So you get married, and then it creates this family tree that I think is going to end up spawning out other people that will join your party. And so I think it's going to kind of weave this web. But you can give them abilities. You can create some really awesome synergies. I'm upgrading all the attributes of my character, can fully customize them as well. But the whole mechanic of like, you're getting new dice, you're learning those moves that become things that you can use when you roll a dice, and you're choosing how that would play. So you can get special dice with it. The enemies, there's going to be one-off things that like, I'll get more credit for this, I'll get these elements for it. It's really, really just a big swing into some genres that I think you and I both really adore and have some reverence for. And it sticks the landing pretty damn well from what I can play.
So when you have 2 characters that you're in control of, are you still just rolling the dice one time and then choosing? So each character has their own throw of dice.
Correct. So like one of the things that plays into that is you get boons, or like these passive things that will come from some of those quests you'll go and randomly find. Excuse me. One of the passive abilities on my main character is if they are not within 4 tiles of their partner, they get an extra dice every turn. So like it's my strategy to keep them further apart, because I get better rewards with that character, and it works out well because the other character has an ability, and this is the reason I went for it. I can teleport enemies within 5 tiles of the other character. So I just start with them, move them over. Like I'll grab an enemy, move it closer to that person because I wanted them to be a part. They've got an extra dice. And then per turn, or maybe it's per encounter, I can't remember. You can, maybe I used 3 dice, but 2 of my dice sucked for what I needed to do. I get 2 re-rolls per encounter, which helps out. So that I can re-roll just 2 of those and maybe get a better shot with it.
Do the enemies also roll dice? Or do they
not that I see.
Do they have kind of is it like a Slay the Spire kind of thing where you know what their attacks are going to be, or
no? So there is a timeline on the left side of the screen that will be showing you at least movement of when they'll be hit or like how many hits will happen before your turn again, but you don't get any forecasting on what they're going to do. But you do get a forecast on what your damage will be on them.
Okay. Do you think the dice are do the dice feel like they get in the way of what the game wants to do, or do the dice feel like they've done something novel here that could have only been done with the dice?
Here's how I'm approaching it.
The things that you're saying kind of just sound like an XCOM RPG that would already have like some dice roll stuff in the background, but the idea of, how many turns am I taking off because I rolled all shields or something and I didn't get to do my attacks, or did I not get the right dice to even do my movement? That's been some of my problems with a lot of these kind of card game based ones too.
Sure.
Where it's like, I know what I want to do. I have the ability to do these things in this deck, but then I get the hand that I'm going to get this turn, and I just don't have the cards that would let me do that. Like that was one of the kind of frustrating things. One of the very few frustrating things about Fights in Tight Spaces, which is like I feel like we built our character to do something, and sometimes you can just get a bad hand and go, well, I guess we kind of mostly have to take this turn off, or I can only really do damage to these little guys because I don't have the thing that does damage to the big guy. And that can kind of feel like a bummer. Do the dice feel like they're kind of in the way in that, or do you feel empowered by having the dice?
I feel empowered for this reason because like you and I played a lot of XCOM, and I would have felt like, oh man, we put a lot of effort to get this stuff here, and this is going to be great, and then it would be a miss. And I just felt super fucked over by it. We're here, I'm like, oh, this is what I have. Like, this is as good as it's going to get, so I need to figure out what to do this turn with what I have versus...
So there is no missing. Like, you roll an attack, and if you have an attack on one of your die...
If you have an attack, you know exactly what damage you're doing. The only thing you don't know is your crit. Because that's really cool. You get like the kind of all-out attack look on the screen when that happens, and then you'll do big, big damage on them. So I can see I have like a 10% chance to crit. I don't know what my crit damage would be necessarily. So that's the only thing I don't get. But yeah, every time I get a die, like I get to use the die for sure. And I have control over that. Like I was mentioning, some of those, you need, if you have this die, but if you also have this other type of die, you get to do this type of attack because you have those. So like there's some cool stuff with that. And that's the other thing, like, well, fuck, I have this one die. I could re-roll 2 and hope that I get that other one so I can do this bigger hit, but I'm still doing this hit. It's kind of like a Pokemon card. Like I've got 2 water attached, so I'm doing my basic one, but if I get that lightning attachment to it, then I'm doing the big fucking hit. It's kind of like that if you have the right dice combination. And those are the abilities that you get when you go and learn other classes. And so like you get that stuff, and that's where the social Persona 5 stuff or other Persona games comes in. As you meet people, you want to do their quest. You want to help them with shit because you're going to increase your social rank. And that's how you get other classes and other cards and dice and stuff like that. So you might want to just be like, oh, fuck, there's one of Chase's quests. I know if I do that, I get that second tier class I'm looking for. So I'm going to grind out anything Chase gives me to get that done. And I think that's really fucking cool. So like the game is rad, dude. It's definitely worth checking out. I would say worth the $25 for sure.
It's got a cool look to it, especially in its like character design, and I think the UI design looks really nice too. I'm not as big a fan of the maps and the
sure
like building layouts and things like that, but How's the rest of the presentation? Is there voice acting? How's the writing?
Writing seems to be very sharp. It walks a line for me because like it could be very hokey and cheesy and cringy, but I think it does a pretty good job not dipping too far into it. The characters are very sassy. They've got a ton of personality. Good kind of like witty banter between them so far. But the loop is very satisfying, and that's what I'm here for. It's like, run as far as you can, come back to your hub, upgrade where you can, dump your resources in, find another quest on the board, go out there, run and do it. And it's been really, really tight too, like very fast moving for what I want it to be.
And with you being a completely customizable character, do you feel like your character has a personality to them, or are they kind of just a blank?
Yeah, you've got like multiple, like you can answer 4 or 5 different ways. And it could be something like, why would you doubt me? Like kind of a cocky one, or like, yeah, that was a tight fight. I'm glad I got through it though. Like more humble. And then you got like angry and shit. It's like, it doesn't call it out that way, but that's how it reads. So you always have those.
Yeah, like a little bit more like BioWare-y. It's like, okay, here's like a Mass Effect, you get options. Because I'm also thinking about a game like Fire Emblem Awakening, where you get to make your own Robin. And Robin is just a generally smart, generally competent person who kind of doesn't say anything, like doesn't really have a personality to them, is just kind of nice and smart. And that can get kind of frustrating that, oh, you made this self-insert character and they just kind of have no personality.
I mean, I'm not super far into it, so there could even be bigger stuff with like the personality pieces, but so far you've got like a dude that hangs out back at your base and he's a little squirrely. Like I'm getting the vibe that he might be double crossing me in some way. And so like I've become a bit more guarded with him and how I respond.
Was he wearing a yellow hood? And
he wasn't a swan, unfortunately. He wasn't
parsley in your
wasn't sprinkling parsley out there. But it says it's a shape and lead your own fully customizable and debt-ridden family of inquisitors in charge of hunting the chromatic monsters infesting the city, unlock unique abilities, hang out with eccentric nobles, learn the secrets in the city the city holds while occasionally delivering ice cream. So like that's the type of humor. Like you kind of get where it's going with it.
Well, the family tree stuff, if it does end up working like that, sounds kind of intriguing. I know Double Fine made a strategy, like turn-based strategy game called Massive Chalice that was somewhat similar in that instance, where you would pair up characters and they would have children. Fire Emblem's done this a little bit, but more to a very a very set path, very scripted way, whereas like a Massive Chalice was doing more procedural. Oh, this is your next of kin, and then they get to grow up and they get to do stuff. So I wonder how this game,
I mean,
if it is going for that, like how it accomplishes that.
I saw
set characters or whether there's more like procedural stuff going on.
So the way it worked, when you kick it off, they give you a choice if you want to partner with a male or a female, and that's kind of where it kicks off that way. They got some choices. So like immediately once you get them, you have to go take them into the castle or whatever you have and give them one of the job systems you've unlocked. So you have all the control over that, and you can teach them new shit and they can go out and like level that up. But that's kind of how that starts. I saw a family tree on here and it looks like they have some pretty clever stuff. Like if your character dies, it looks like it's permadeath from what I can tell, because like on like each row of the family tree, there would be some that were like skulls. So I imagine it would be like, if I died in the game, I don't know if it's game over, but if my partner dies or however this plays out, it would just show a skull and maybe like I remarry. And then that's where the offspring would come from and that sort of thing. So it looks pretty cool from what I can tell.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Dice Gambit. I think that we should absolutely play it on a Monday sometime. So I can show it to you there.
Yeah, I'd love to see more of it. Sure.
Chase, have you been, living your life 1/4 mile at a time? Is that the type of game this is?
I spun a wheel and then I got behind the wheel because I had to play.
Never drink in debt.
Game. It definitely not. So Bobby suggested to play Need for Speed Unbound. That's the newest one game, I'm pretty sure. Which you played some of and you liked.
Played a decent amount, yeah. It was cool.
The problem is I did not own that game, and it was still full price, and I was not paying that much money for a Need for Speed game, especially because I already had a couple from. I don't know if it was from PlayStation Plus or it was just really cheap at one point, and I bought them both for $5 or whatever. But I had Need for Speed Payback, which I
Okay.
heard some very poor things about. I heard some kind of good things about too.
That was like the Burnout one, right?
No.
No.
Hot Pursuit was the one that was made by Criterion, the Burnout one.
Okay.
That was the reboot, and then they also made a reboot of Most Wanted, and that was also Criterion. And then Criterion's now like a Battlefield developer or some bullshit, of course, because we can't have good things. So Need for Speed is back to, I think, Ghost Games.
Oh, Heat's the one that had like the 80s looking logo, right?
Yeah, so Heat was the other one that I had, which I heard some really good things about, and so I thought, okay, I'll try.
It's got
Heat.
very good reviews.
Yeah, it did, and it seemed like it was. It seemed like it had a really interesting premise to it, which is there's street racing that you can do during the day, which is very professional and above board, and it gets you money. And then there's street racing at night, which gets you cred and is illegal, and the cops are out and they're looking for you. So you kind of have to balance
how. Is there bleed over there?
How you race a little bit, yeah. So you can choose to do racing during the day or during the night. There are parts to help you upgrade your car, and obviously they cost money, but you can't even buy the parts until you have enough street cred to get them in the first place. So there is this nice balance of you got to race at night so you can build up your reputation, and then you can go and do the legitimate racing and buy the stuff for that, and be able to build up your car. And you can use the same car back and forth.
That's kind of what I was asking. Like, if you were out illegally racing and the cops are chasing you, but you show up to like with a very, I'm sure, identifiable car. Like, is there anything that carries over, like a warrant level or anything like that?
No, not in that way. Because again, like the daytime racing is the legitimate races. These are all the sponsored ones that it's totally cool that you're here. You're not gonna have to worry about the cops. It's just the pure racingness of it. And then when you go at night, it's like, okay, now we're doing the illegal shit. Cops are out. We gotta be a little careful. And you do. What's also kind of interesting is that you can stay out because it is an open world. You can stay out and do races and things and continue to build up like a multiplier. And during the day, it's, you can keep doing races and keep getting money. And at night, you can do races, but you can also, if you are being chased by the cops, it's kind of got a GTA Star system that it has.
Oh, fun.
And you start to build up a multiplier for your reputation. And then when you say, okay, I'm good, I'm calling it a night, it cashes in your multiplier plus all the stuff that you've done for your races to get you that level that then you can go into the garage and buy new parts.
Do they have like a rival that you can develop in those situations?
Not exactly, at least not now. There are some story. I didn't play too much of it, but there does seem to be some story stuff that is kind of going in. It's more that your rivals are the cops. There's there's a new cop in town. He's really cracking down.
He has a Mustang
shit, and it is very cheesy in that way. I think they try to play it up in a very serious tone, but it does come off as pretty cheesy in a decent way. Where this hard ass cop is here. He's gonna really bring it to these street racers and clean up this town. I think it's got a lot of promise. I understand why people like this game.
Sure.
I don't love the physics engine of it. The car
is it too arcadey?
I wouldn't say that. There's a little bit of a looseness that isn't quite what I want.
Okay. And like a swimmy?
A little bit, yeah.
So it's more the feel, right?
It's a feel thing for sure.
Yeah.
And it's really tough with racing games to find a feel that people like. Some racing games like a Ridge Racer or something go really loose, but people get used to that really loose style. I really like that Burnout 3, Burnout Paradise, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Criterion style of, okay, you can tap the brake and you can immediately go into the drift, and that feels good, and it has like a loosey arcadiness to it, but you I think they just really nailed it in
Is there
that era of
commentary
racing games.
in this one too?
No. There's no commentary. You do get like story pieces on the back end and front ends of some pieces. You know, some characters that will tell you to go to this person's garage, or hey, you need to go do this race, or hey, I set up a race thing here. You should come and visit me during the night sometime, and we'll set up a race and do whatever.
What car are you using?
Which car did I start? I started with a Mustang. I started with a classic muscle car. They give you three car options to start with, and it's like a mid-size BMW, 60s Mustang, and I forgot what the last one was. Some little Japanese car, I think. And I didn't particularly like any of the cars, but I decided to end up going with the Mustang. And I was very excited because I did a couple races, and at one point the game told me, hey, you unlocked the ability to buy this car and this car. And I went, okay, great. And when you start the game up, you go to this guy's garage and he gives you that option between these three cars. And this garage is also where you buy all your upgrades. And I thought, okay, you can also go to like this online-ish mode where you can see other people and see their cars in the same garage. And I thought, okay, this garage area, this is the hub where everything happens. So where do I buy a new car here? And I just could not find a way to buy a new car. And I'm going crazy. I'm thinking, where the fuck do I buy a car?
Damn.
I've gone through all these menu options. Nobody's told me that I could think of where you actually buy a car, or what option in the menu it is, and I'm trying to search online for where you buy a car, and I'm not finding the answer. And then finally, I think I was watching a YouTube video of somebody playing just to see what the hell is going on. And obviously there has to be another way to buy a car here, right? And it turns out that in the open world there are just dealerships that you can go to.
Got it.
And
that's
which to me went, well, that's incredibly unintuitive that you have a place where,
like that.
One, I already bought a car. That was my first car where I got a car. Two, I'm already buying all the parts. This is the hub area that I keep coming back to each time. But now you say, oh, if you want to buy a new car, it's actually somewhere in the open world. That part pissed me off a little bit. And I kind of just put the game down for a little bit.
That's fair.
And I'll probably end up coming back to it once or twice. I started to get more used to the physics. I still don't really like the drifting in this game. I can't remember exactly how it worked, but it almost worked like the Need for Speed. Oh, I remember. It's if you let go of the gas and then hit the gas again, you'll start to go into the drift. So it kind of feels like the Burnout one where you'd tap the brake and then you could go into the drift. But this one is, you let go of the gas and you put it back on. The problem is if you're in a corner situation, one of the things you are generally trying to do is kind of figure out, okay, I need to let off the gas a little bit as I go into this turn. I need to hit the gas as I come out of this turn. There's sometimes where you're just trying to feather the gas just to get the right speed.
Sure.
But because you're also hitting the button sequence to start a drift, you'll just drift at times where you didn't really want to drift. And that part is incredibly unintuitive to me. It seems like a really stupid decision to make the controls like that, especially when you're not doing anything with the brake, like the Criterion games did.
You know what's weird?
Why'd you break something that was already fixed?
So I'm looking at this game on Steam right now. It is included with EA Play if you subscribe to that. But if you don't, you can only buy the Need for Speed Heat Deluxe Edition. That's the only thing that they're selling right now for this, and it's $70, which is interesting because this is a 2019 game. Yeah. That's just very strange to see it that way. Like I thought for sure this would be a little bit lower cost, but
I wonder if it's just a case of trying to
get
trying
people
to
on
get
that.
people to
I
get
mean,
the
sure.
subscription EA
Why wouldn't they?
service, and then yeah, why would you pay $70 for this really old game? You should just get the subscription service and then you get it. I'm pretty sure I got it like there was a PlayStation sale and
That
these
seems
games
right.
were marked down to $5 or something, and I just grabbed them at that point. I think it's a good game. I think it's solid. It's certainly not my favorite Need for Speed game. I go back to those Criterion ones that I told you about, but also still up there as one of my favorites is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 on the original Xbox. That is
That's
one
a
of the
game.
peak
That's a
racing
video
games for
game,
me.
my friend.
That's how I liked it. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I tried a new Need for Speed game. And again, like I said, I'm going to try a little bit more. But this is what the wheel's for. Sometimes you like the game, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just fine. And
Well,
I think this one's just fine.
nothing wrong with that. In my opinion,
it's not fine. Sword of the Sea.
Double fine.
Oh, that's true too. Sword of the Sea is not fine, Bobby.
Oh, it's not?
It's fucking fantastic.
It's very cool, Chase. It's a very good video game. We're talking about the game that came out on August 19th from Giant Squid. You might know them from Abzu, The Pathless. I believe the art director or parts of their team came from the same dev team that made Journey, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep.
So if this game looks like Journey, it is earned because it's the same people. Chase, what do you love? Give me 30-second pitch of what you love about Sword of the Sea.
This is one of the best feeling video games. When I was talking about the feel of Need for Speed Heat, it was, I had some quibbles about what it was doing one way or the other. I have zero quibbles about the way your character moves.
Dude, they had to nail that. Like, this game had to nail that. And if any of that would, and I'll call out, Jesus, I just lost the name of it. The game that we were super hot on, Japanese Breakfast had a song for it. Sable. Sable is a game that had the same stakes, in my opinion. It had to feel fantastic. I do not think Sable felt very good as far as like movement goes.
Yeah, your problem was like the character movement felt a little sluggish and slow. That when you were on the bike or something, it felt better. But I remember you not liking that. I didn't end up playing much of Sable outside of the demo. Sable is on the wheel though, so who knows? Maybe Sable will show back up. No problems like that in Sword of the Sea.
Correct. Yeah, because Sword of the Sea, to your point, I agree. One of the best feeling games for sure. Sure.
So the deal here for people who aren't sure, you start as this kind of statue, which is a character's name, the
very
Wraith,
cool,
or a Wraith. But you start at this kind of this frozen statue, and this drop of water hits you. You're in like the Chinese terracotta warriors pit.
Yeah.
And this drop of water lands on your statue head, and it revives you. And you're carrying the sword, and the sword also has all these runes on it that light up. So this sword is not only a sword, but it's a metaphor refantasio kind of. You could surf on this sword.
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah!
So the sword immediately like goes into flat mode, horizontal mode, and you jump on it, and the game
like a hoverboard
gives you control. Yeah, and it doesn't explain anything more at that time. It just puts you right into it and lets you start going. And God, it starts going. Like this game has incredible momentum. Like it just feels good. It's not quite. I mean, the marketing of this game is kind of saying, "Hey, we're like a Journey meets Tony Hawk," and I think in a very abstract, reductive way, totally for sure. But when you think about a game like Tony Hawk, and you're skating, you let go of the controller and there's still momentum where your skater goes.
Right.
And there's less momentum here. Like it feels a little bit more like a horse in the way you control it, in that
I can see that.
There is some starting and stopping, there is some like slowing down into it, but it's not you don't just cruise. Where you feel like maybe you could cruise if it was like a skating or surfing game, but you still have complete control of your character the whole time. And you're going through these big desert environments, and there are these sand dunes that are all over the place, but they're also moving with the wind, and there's like a waviness to them. So you are able to ollie, and eventually you're able to do some pretty minor tricks, but you are able to do some tricks off these things as well. And it just feels so fucking
It feels
good.
really good. Like, you called out Tony Hawk, and you called out, what was the other one that you called out?
Journey.
Yeah,
like
obviously.
the desert areas of Journey, and
the other game they made, the Pathless, when you had like hit all the targets and you had that flow state going, because that's how your speed would go. Like you had to be aiming, and it was a little wonky. That's the first thing I thought about. I was just like, man, they really understood movement with the Pathless. They got in its own way because the movement fucking sucked when you miss something.
Yeah, but there was like a mastery that it wanted you to do. I didn't end up playing the Pathless, but just watching it for 5 minutes, you can see what it's doing. Of moving anywhere in this game can feel great because you have to keep executing as you go to get that, to keep maintaining that top speed.
The
Sword
difference,
of the Sea doesn't have that.
No, that's what
you
the
just
point.
Go,
they don't.
But it still
they don't hold you back. Like the Pathless, it was a mechanic they wanted you to master. Here, they just want you to feel good, and they want, like the way that Journey wanted you to explore. Sword of the Sea wants you to basically just get out there and skate, get out there and surf, all those things. And the thing you were making about the dunes, it's pretty profound. Like there's a slight spoiler here, but it's all over their fucking marketing, so deal with it. But you get to a shrine, so to speak, and you get to unlock a portion that turns the sand into water. And what's really fucking uncanny, like when it first happened, I remember it was like, holy shit, dude, like there's only a portion of this desert that is water right now, but the movement is fluid. Like I could see where the sand would be water, but this portion is both equally sand and equally water. And I think even being able to like navigate that, and the slight bit of boost you get from when you move from sand to the water, and how that changes the way they get
faster on the water. So
100%.
Like you want to, like, that's where your flow states come in, is like
Correct.
where you can find ways of, okay, I'm just taking the water path to go to this
Correct.
next area instead of hitting the sand, so you can go a little bit faster. Like that stuff feels really good. The story conceit of what's going on here is that because the game does eventually tell you a little bit through these obelisks that you can go in and interact with. There was some kind of war that happened. You were on one side of the war. There's also this kind of red team that was on the other side of the war. There were these gods, and the ocean, the sea, eventually dried up due to what this war, like it was one of the casualties of this war, is that the whole sea dried up, and so that's what left this sand everywhere. And so your kind of task is to go and unlock the sea and bring that back to this very deserted area, and bring the water back.
You're playing this on PlayStation 5, correct?
That is correct.
Is there any cool stuff that you've encountered with the controller, like as far as haptics and stuff?
The DualSense stuff, I think they've knocked it out of the park.
Oh, cool.
There's just, it feels a lot like Astro, where you walk through, and depending on the different surfaces that you're on, the rumble feels a little bit different. The sound is just a little bit different. The sound is coming out of the controller if you want it to. But there are, when you're on sand versus when you're on the stone versus when you're on water versus when you're on the I'm sure you've gotten to like the terracotta looking buildings. So when you're on these kind of terracotta tiles on the roof, there is this kind of as you go across these things, and it just has that kind of little tink sound as you're hitting every one of them, but you also feel it every time. It's I feel like maybe they almost go overboard a little on the rumble stuff, but it does feel great, and it does add to that flow state that you're talking about.
It's been a minute too since I've had a game that I felt very relaxed by, in like a good way. And this is one of those things where it's just like, I love being able to unwind in this world. I don't know if you've looked into it. Let me ask, have you beaten it?
No. So it is very short. It's like 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably about halfway through it from the session I played today.
I think that's probably where I'm at too, about halfway through this. And I don't want to rush it by any stretch. Like it's a bold cost. Like I'll say that much. Like I'm not here to say that this is not right for what this game is, but it's a $30 game that's 3 hours, and I think that's stretching a lot of people. I think on like
I think from like a comparative sense for what you paid for something like an Abzu or what you paid for a Journey, I can understand that. I know the Pathless was also really expensive.
It was
when it came out, and that was one of the reasons I didn't end up playing the Pathless. Is just
it
was a little too pricey everywhere.
It was it was a PS5 launch, and I think they had to like hit that target with it, like
But it was also, I think it was also on iOS, but it was also
that's where I played
expensive on iOS.
Yeah, it was part of Apple Arcade too, so like you had that piece of it. I'm really enjoying it. I played Journey. I did not play Abzu. I did play Pathless. I should have played Abzu. Like that's a game that I know is really cool.
I think you'd like Abzu. I think this game has a lot more in common with a Journey or an Abzu than it does Pathless. Like Pathless is a game. There are fights. There's enemies. There's things that happen in the Pathless that are like real obstacles to your goal.
Big time.
Whereas something like Journey was a lot more puzzle based. Abzu was a little bit more exploration based, and I think Sword of the Sea is somewhere between the two, where there is, if you like that one sequence of Journey when you are surfing down the sand slide, that is basically 80% of what Sword of the Sea is, and the other 20% is doing kind of Journey like puzzles. So there's a little bit of like exploration. I just want to see cool stuff as I navigate this world. But then there's also solving. I wouldn't say any of the puzzles have been really difficult. It's really just kind of getting to one place or finding the button that you have to hit.
Sure.
And then once you hit the button, the world changes a little bit with the water stuff replacing the sand, or sand levels falling or water levels rising or something like that. But I wouldn't say anything's been very difficult at all in terms of that. And there's also hasn't been, at least not in this first half of the game that Bobby and I have played, we haven't really had any enemies. The one thing that they've teased is that there seems to be one of the red team guys who is still out there.
Oh yeah.
And he seems to be a rival of yours. And so far he's more or less stuck to the shadows. I think at the part that I got to, he's confronted our guy and then immediately ditched out.
I haven't had
any fights yet or anything.
Have you met the dolphin?
Though you have this sword. You have the sword the whole from the very beginning of the game. I haven't had to swing that sword at all. I'm just using it to surf around or to break open crates or things like that.
Have you met the dolphin?
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you, man. Like I think it's gorgeous. I love the soundtrack as well. How many screenshots have you taken?
None yet. It is a very pretty game. I could totally see myself taking screenshots, but it hasn't. It's been more of a thing where I just wanted to kind of let it wash over me. One of the last things that I want to mention is that even though, again, they are kind of pushing the Tony Hawk stuff because it feels good. So
there's a half pipe in the game.
There are many half pipes in the game that they just sometimes are like, just have fun with the half pipe.
Yeah.
The trick system I think is probably the weakest part of the game.
I would agree,
because and it is also a completely unnecessary part of the game that they
100%
make unnecessary.
100%.
So there is the only other alive character that you see outside of this rival character that you've met a couple times. There's this kind of merchant that is looking for these triangle pieces, and when you give her enough triangle pieces, she shakes them up in a big bottle and then pops out a buff for you. And the first one I got was the ability to do tricks at all, which is just holding, for me at least, it's holding L1 and then hitting one of the face buttons.
Correct.
To do a little trick. And the tricks all kind of look the same. Like I know it's like, I held the left side of the board, or I held the right side of the board, or the front or the back.
It's pretty boring.
It's pretty boring. It's not like Tony Hawk where they're naming the tricks and you're seeing a big combo or anything like that, or at least not in the main game. And then the second thing I got was the ability to do spin tricks. So now I can hold L1 and rapidly press
those are a little bit more visually pleasing.
They are, but they're also very rigid. Where okay, I tapped it and now I do one spin, one 360 spin to the left, and I have to tap it again and I do another 360 spin. It's not a Tony Hawk kind of thing where I'm holding an analog stick and you're constantly spinning. Or backflipping.
Hey, you'll get to play Skate next month for free.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't want people to go in thinking like there's a big deep trick system or something like that. At the end of the day, this is still much more of an exploratory game that just feels really nice to move in, and the tricks are kind of a little extra thing on top. But Bobby, did you get to the one place? It's in kind of the second area where there's I wouldn't really call it a secret area. It's just a place that you can go to that has a big hourglass, and it does give you time to build a big combo and get a big score.
I've done something like that, but I've not done the hourglass yet.
Okay. So for me, it gave me, you go into this room and there's this hourglass on the top of a building. And when you hit that, it gives you, I don't know if it was 2 minutes or 1 minute, but it gives you a certain amount of time. And it just says, okay, we're going to do a score attack just in this little room. And it gives you those jellyfish that you can bounce off of.
So yeah. I've done that. You have to have like 8,000 points.
Yeah, I think it was 10, but yeah. But they changed the game a little bit in that there's a UI element that goes above you on the screen. And there's like a thermometer showing you your score and what you need to get to. And so that's the first and only time that it's really been Tony Hawk gamey in that way, where okay, there is a combo system that's happening in this game. These tricks that you do could go to a score. You're just not seeing that score as you play the game until you pause. Because I also noticed that once I paused, there's a giant score in the top right corner of the screen, and it's not showing you that when you're playing normally. But if you want to go in, and I think I had like a 314,000 score. Like, okay, I guess like maybe it surfaces that to you at the end of the game. It's like, hey, just in case you wanted to know, you had a score of 1 million points or whatever. Like, okay, it doesn't really matter. And then the last thing, I wonder if these are just a collectible or if this is another currency that you get. But
the shell.
How many of those shells have you gotten?
I think 3.
Okay, I've just gotten 2 so far, but.
Maybe it is
they
2.
seem to be like really hidden in those levels.
Yes.
But I've
maybe it is 2
to this point, and
I think it is
nothing, 2. Okay, but there's nothing I've seen to trade those.
No, I was like, is this going to be like a vendor type thing or what? But yeah it's super
because
rare.
The other thing, like the little triangles, you collect those like coins, and then you can
they're all over the place
to the woman for the tricks.
Yeah.
But if you didn't care about the trick system, you could basically ignore all that stuff and just go and explore 100%. The game and have a good time, not worry about the little triangles at all, just go. And I think you could have a great time with this. But I do really like that when you go through a level and go through this area and you get to the part where you change it from the desert part to now with water, now with plant life and things like that.
Yeah.
The level changes enough, but then it also scatters out a bunch of the triangle currency
big time
around the world.
Chains
so
and
now
shit like
it's
that.
So now it's like, okay, it's almost like when you play like a Mario game and you go through the level and then it says, okay, well now you can do the challenge version of the level. It's a little bit like that, where
I can see that.
I know the level generally, and maybe a couple things change, but now it's about mastery of, can you get to these places? Can you find these somewhat hidden areas or use the space to get to a harder to access area? And now you can get all these fun coins and things. Like there was one place where I was going through, it was just the desert part, and I found this kind of neat place, or the roof of something that I'd already gone through. And I thought, I'm sure I can get some currency if I go to these things. It's just hidden around. And there wasn't. And I went, that's really disappointing that, there's just kind of this whole section of the level they didn't do anything with. And then when I turned the place water, it was like, no. We put all that shit now. Now you go
get it.
And I went, okay, cool. Because I've already been there.
You got to do the other thing first. No, It's a really slick game. I think we'll be talking a lot about it in the months to come. But I'm glad that it stuck the landing because I know you were super hyped on it. I'm glad I picked it up. I hate to be this guy. I typically am not this guy. I think it is a little steep to get like the price. I mean, it's justified. It's there. Like it's worth it. But I could see if you are tight on a budget, your mileage probably doesn't go as far as it does for other $30 entries is what I would say.
Yeah, I totally understand if people are turned off by the price. I think it is a game that is worth playing, though. If you have to wait for a sale, I understand. This is probably not a game I would play again. I think I think
that's my point.
Yeah, you could, I guess, to try to get better scores or something, but I'm not playing this game for scores.
No, playing it for vibes.
I only want to play a game like Abzu once. I only want to play a game like Shadow of the Colossus once, so I can kind of just experience what it's giving me and not try to wring every little piece of content out of it. But I think you could do that if you wanted to, and who knows, maybe it unlocks more stuff in like a time trial mode or like a score attack kind of mode where maybe those things get shown on the UI a little bit more as you play through. But it's a really cool game. I'm really taken with it. I'm looking forward to playing the rest of it.
I agree, man. I agree. Well, that was Sword of the Sea. We also talked about Need for Speed Heat, and we also spent some time.
Oh, last thing. I hate the name.
Sword of the Sea.
I hate the name because every time I say Sword of the Sea, my brain thinks Song of the South, and I'm like, I don't want that.
Oh, that's fair.
It just keeps. It's a brain worm, and I don't want it. It's like I just want to play Sword of the Sea, and my brain's, you gonna mean Song of the South? I mean, I don't. That's not what I mean. Stop thinking that.
Well, that is Sword of the Sea. We talked about Dice Gambit, and we talked about Need for Speed Heat. We are not going to be doing a Casual Friday this week because I will be at the Oasis concert. We will not have a Casual Monday. So we will be back live again next week with a preview of all the September games coming out. But as we talked about earlier in this episode, we did wrap up the Royal We playthrough. Playthrough is generous, but of Yes, Your Grace Snowfall. We played it until we were through with it. How about that?
Yeah, play part.
And I still don't know why none of our links are working. Everything's turned on Streamlabs. That's very weird.
Can't tell you.
I have no control over that one. That was very strange. That's a bot not working. AI. Anyway, that's what we've been up to this week. We'll be back next week with our preview. But Chase, there is more content if people crave content from us. Where can they find the content?
Not as much. I also took this week off of Chase K Plays. Enough stuff was going on that I decided, hey, I'm not beholden. I don't have to give these guys more shit.
Yeah.
But I am very close to finishing Iron Brigade, or at least the original main story of Iron Brigade. So I think I'll be back at that next week. That game continues to be fun. So go check out the series I've been doing called Retrenched. This is your chance to catch up on it. And then also I do have another podcast that I do with a good friend of the show, Pierce Gorshane. It's called Pilot Program, where we watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. Our last episode was on HBO's The Gilded Age, and I think we had a really good conversation about it. And our next episode, which I think we'll be recording early to mid-September, because Pierce is going to PAX over Labor Day, I'm pretty sure. So when Pierce is back and we're ready to record that, we will be watching the ESPN miniseries, The Bronx is Burning, which is on the New York Yankees in the
very cool
70s, I'm pretty sure. So check that out. It'll be a good episode, I think.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out, talking about games, Chase. Thank you all for listening to us talk about games. We enjoy doing that, and we hope you do as well. We'll be back on Wednesday with new games for you to put